The Los Angeles Dodgers, the far and away favorite to win the 2017 World Series. Their amazing 44-7 run over the stretch of the summer. Their young talent has propelled them to the sweethearts of all the media in terms of World Series predictions, and many think they will be raising the trophy come late October, early November. However, I'm here to tell you today that that will not be the case, and the Dodgers will go another year without bringing a World Series back to Los Angeles. I have four major reasons to propel this claim. Now, the first one is not statistical, and this is due to the fact of all the pressure that comes with going on such a run that the Dodgers have had and probably will continue. So the last time a team won 115 games plus was the 2001 Seattle Mariners. Now the Dodgers, they need to do a little work to get there. So they're 92-43 right now. So they need to do a little work to get there. But they're definitely going to get over 100 wins easy. And they're probably going to get over 110. If I had to guess, 105 at least. So this team, the pressure that came with that team lost in the ALCS. And the only time 110, 114 season that happened recently was the 1998 Yankees, which they won the World Series, but there were a lot of veterans on that team. That team was, and they had a lot of guys who'd been through it before. They won the World Series. So the pressure on this team has really not been able to live up to the pressure, and you're going to see their statistics later on in this video, but this team has not been able to live up to the pressure, and why should they be able to this year? So the next reason why this team will not win the World Series is their starting pitching. Their starting pitching has been very good over the regular season. But if you look at their postseason pitchers' playoff numbers, it's a little bit startling. So now we're going to start off with the obvious one, Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw so far in his postseason career has a 4-7 record with a 4.55 ERA. Now a 4.5 ERA is a quality start, but in the playoffs a quality start is a pretty bad outing. So you're not looking for that. Now their next guy up who pitched game 2 in the NLCS or NLDS would be Yu Darvish. And Yu Darvish in very limited playoff experience is 0-2 with a 5.40 ERA. Now the next guy I think they would throw out there would be Rich Hill. And Rich Hill in 5 games is 1-2 with a 4.50 ERA. So he's averaging a quality start, but he's still on the bad side of that losing record. And there's a couple guys that I think throw out, but I think that in the final 4th game, they'd probably throw out Kenta Maeda, and he's 0-1 in 3 games pitched with a 6.75 ERA. Now, if you look at all those ERAs, you're going to see that a lot of them end in simple numbers, 5s and 0s. This means that there's a limited number of outings. Yeah, so we're going to compare this to the last year's staff of the Chicago Cubs, which ended up ultimately winning the World Series. Jake Arrieta, 4-2, 3.64 ERA. John Lester, 9-7, 2.63 ERA. John Lackey, 8-6, 3.27 ERA. Kyle Hendricks, 1-1, 2.38 ERA. So the only one with limited experience out of that group is Kyle Hendricks, and he had the best ERA out of the group. So that shows me that they had really good pitching in their playoff run, and that the Dodgers can't really expect it as of this moment to get any sort of good pitching. And the documented of Clayton Kershaw's struggles within the postseason, especially once they get out of the NLDS and they've never been to a World Series with them, is pretty remarkable. And I don't think, especially coming off an injury and all this pressure that they're going to have coming off this amazing ride of the season, I just can't see him reversing that trend. So they're pitching. Now the third reason is due to their recent trends and other teams within the National League. So over the last 13 games, they're 5-8 compared to over the summer we all remember they went on that 44-7 run. So they've lost more games over the last 13 days, past 2 weeks, than they lost in the 6 or 7 weeks run that they put that on. So that's pretty remarkable that this team cooled off that quick, and now they're playing below 500 baseball over the last 2 weeks. And in only 5 of these 13 games has this team scored more than 3 runs. So this team is kind of known as the offensive powerhouse, with Corey Bellinger, Yasiel Puig, Corey Seager. So this team is offensive powerhouse, but they're not putting up runs right now. they're kind of cooling off, and after getting on the run, you can cool off a little bit. But some of these losses, 1-0, 2-1, it's just like their pitching has been okay, but that's probably going to change during the postseason. And their run scoring hasn't been okay, which usually score less runs in the postseason. So I think this team, if this trend continues, could be in deep trouble. And if I take a look at the National League, the current division leaders are the Nationals, the Dodgers, and the Cubs. And last year they were eliminated by the Cubs. And even though they eliminated the Nationals, I think the Nationals are a much better team than they were last year. I think if Bryce Harper's healthy, then they're going to be tough to get by. But I think they can get by the Nationals. But the Cubs are the defending World Series champions. And they've been through it before. And they had the hangover at the beginning of the season. But they're going an opposite trend. They started off slow, but now they're heating up. And while the Dodgers started off hot, and they were hot, and now they're cooling down. So that's the opposite trend that happens. You see that a lot in football. Not always the best team wins the Super Bowl, but the most hot. And that could be true in baseball too, especially with hitting and stuff. And that the first round opponent will probably be the Arizona Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks are in their division, and they're the only team in baseball that has managed a .500 record against this team. And their ace, Zach Greinke, has a postseason average of 3-3 win-loss record and 3.50 ERA in 9 games started. So Greinke used to play for the Dodgers, and he didn't get paid enough for them, so he left and went to the Diamondbacks. And odds are he'll pitch that one-game playoff, and then they'll see him back in Arizona in Game 3 or 4 of that NLDS. But it's got to probably scare the Dodgers that this team, who's had the most success out of anybody in the major leagues over this year, is probably going to play him in the first round. And that's not good for them. And the next round, they'll probably play Chicago, the team that eliminated last year, and has all this better pitching and batting, which we'll get into later, and more experience. So the final reason I think the Dodgers will not win the World Series is due to their lack of postseason experience and youth on the team. So other than Chase Utley, this team is pretty young. There are 5 main young guys: Yasiel Puig, Jock Peterson, Chris Taylor, Corey Seager, and Cody Bellinger. And here are their postseason statistics. So I only looked at Puig's last 4 series because the one was when he came up, was on fire. But in his last 4 postseason series, he's only had 0 home runs and 1 RBI and batting .189. Peterson, in his entire postseason career, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, .225. Chris Taylor, no playoff experience. Corey Seager, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, batting .200. Cody Bellinger, 0 postseason experience. So coming in, so the last world champions coming in, every single one of these guys had postseason experience, and all of them have these type of numbers which exceed the numbers that these Dodgers have put up. Chris Bryant, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, .263. Anthony Rizzo, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, .247. Addison Russell, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs, .211. Jorge Soler, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, batting .344. And Javi Baez, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, .277. So all these numbers by their young guns exceed all the numbers by the Dodgers' young guns in the postseason. All it takes is one series to turn those numbers around. But going into the postseason, I don't think we should really have high expectations. Your first postseason, everyone kind of struggles a little bit, and there's some guys that never really turn it on. I mean, the Cubs were able to win the World Series with a couple guys that really weren't hitting that well, and I've seen teams win the World Series with a couple players that really can't hit in the playoffs, or just play good defense. But it's going to be hard for them to ask all these guys with limited experience and bad experiences, if any, to come up and step up for them and help them win a World Series this year. It wouldn't be a complete shock to me, but however, I just truly believe that the Dodgers just will not win this World Series, and it will probably be won by someone else. So leave down in the comments below if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm an idiot. Leave down in the comments below and leave a like and sub for more content. Thank you, and see you later.